Thank you so much, Elena. So Holly really queued us up already for this, and so I'm going to jump right into our questions, right? So on the one hand, artificial intelligence sounds kind of creepy, right? To some educators and even students and parents. On the other hand, there are people, and I know you guys know this, you're AI enthusiasts who just believe this is gonna change the world and fix all our problems and cook us breakfast every morning, right? So I'm wondering, where do each of you fall on that continuum? What do you see as the biggest promise of AI and the thing that we should be most afraid of? And I will start, I'll start with Pat. We'll go in reverse alphabetical order there. Yeah.
Okay, so biggest promise and
the scariest thing. What you should be most afraid of.
So the biggest promise, so first off, folks, the rubber meets the road in classrooms at the level of procurement. I'm just going to get straight to it, because I know that there are a lot of folks here who decide on procurement. And the biggest promise is actually not necessarily even like the AI tools in the classroom and their effectiveness, though, by the way, hopefully we'll understand their effectiveness very soon. A lot of these new tools are just new, right? But the biggest promise is just us having this conversation. The opportunity to rethink education and rethink like why we do, what we teach, how we teach it, et cetera, et cetera. It's a moment in time where the whole world is changing because of AI. Certainly the business sector is going crazy around AI right now because they understand the promise for productivity. But at the education level, at minimum, regardless of the effectiveness of the tools, it's just an opportunity for us to rethink what we're doing and just pause and think like why we do this. In terms of the scariest thing, it would be over-reliance on the AI tools. I know this personally because I've been using these tools to help me write for over a year now, and I find myself both getting lazier, but also becoming a better writer because now I'm taking a more of an editor mindset, kind of like Allison, you know, who's an assistant editor, right?
It's like more of a senior reporter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, I've never taken that mindset before, and AI tools really help me do that. But in the same way, I also get lazy about some of the fundamental skills. What we should be concerned about as educators is, for kids who've never learned those skills in the first place, will they not develop the right muscles? Our muscles can atrophy, then we can build them up again. But those kids, will they even build up the muscles? That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, and I think, Allison, your question, as we're working with folks, and first, good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's great to be here. But having a conversation about the continuum of where people are is incredibly important because AI is shifting not just education, but it's shifting us as humans and what our world looks like, whether we're talking about how we live, how we work, how we learn. And so one of the things that I think is most important is, Pat, kind of what you were saying about acknowledging where we are. And I say this a lot, but we need to allow people to feel their feelings, right? Because there is such a wide range of how people are feeling when we think about AI. And when I think about the opportunities, they aren't really, to me, about AI itself. And I think, Pat, you were going here a little bit as well. It's between this and the pandemic and what we're seeing with teacher recruitment and retention and social emotional learning needs, what is it that we need to be focusing on as educators? And we've had this conversation since, kids started Googling things and Wikipedia and everything else. Content is readily available. And now it isn't just content is readily available, it's that creation is readily available. And if those two things exist, then we really need to shift to a mindset where we're focusing on problem solving, we're focused on critical thinking, we're focused on creativity, and that's hard, right? Like, we've been talking about those things for decades, but when you try to define critical thinking and really get to what that looks like in a classroom, it's challenging. And now I think we are seeing the tipping point of where we have to address that challenge, right? And so I think it's a great opportunity. I've been talking about reinventing learning throughout the course of my career, and I thought the pandemic was the thing, right? I was like, this is it, we're gonna shift. And we didn't. I mean, we did a little bit, but it's still these pockets of innovation as opposed to seeing it across the board. And so that's my hope, is that we really use this as an opportunity to make the shifts that we've known we've needed to make for ages.